Hey all. I'm currently sitting outside of a pool. Um, I decided to go for a walk, even though it's like almost midnight. Because I don't really have anything else to do. And I was kind of thinking about how I'm not very excited about my future. I don't think that good things are coming to me. If they are, it would probably be just by sheer luck and not because I deserve them or because I work hard to get good things in my life, because I don't. I've always had very much a lack of motivation to do. I don't even just want to say things that I don't want to do, but like even some things that I would probably enjoy doing, I would still probably rather just sit in bed if those things would take effort. And I'm not really sure what to do, because I graduated high school and I turned 18 about 2 weeks after that. I'm now legally an adult, and I decided not to go to college this year, which I don't regret doing. I think that was a good choice, considering my circumstances. But I have no school now, and I won't for at least another year. And nothing has really changed since when I was a kid. I mean, I feel like I've matured a lot. I feel like I've become a lot more aware of myself and of other people, the way that other people view me and the way that other people view themselves. Just like the way that people work. They're a lot more complicated than I realized. People, I mean. I'm a lot more complicated than I realized. So I think I'm a lot less naive than I used to be, and that has helped me to become less anxious and self-conscious. But it hasn't disciplined me. And I realized that the biggest form of procrastination that I've been doing my entire life is I was just waiting and hoping that one day discipline and a work ethic would come to me. Just like how I wait for any other good thing to come to me, instead of going out there and trying to get it myself. Or if I know it's not going to come to me, then I'll just be like, it's okay not having it, you know? Which isn't always bad. I'm a person that's very easily satisfied, which I don't think is a bad thing. I feel like generally I'm a lot happier than a lot of other people, and I'm very grateful for that. Because happiness isn't a mindset, you know. If bad things happen to you, you won't be happy, and you don't really get to choose what happens to you. I mean, you do, but to a certain extent, you don't. Like, you don't get to choose to be born into poverty or wealth. You don't get to choose to have, you know, good parents that care for you and take responsibility and are good role models for you. You know, I'm very grateful that I've had all of those things. I've always had a house and food. I've never been considered like a lower class. I've always been pretty much middle class, which I'm not going to complain about. But what I am going to complain about is the fact that I was given all of these opportunities that so many people in the world weren't, and I'm doing nothing with them. And I know that I'm young, like 18, technically legally an adult, but basically not. I mean, I still feel the same as when I was 17. You know, the brain doesn't stop developing until you're like 25. So I'm not out here saying that this is like my final form. But I haven't noticed any change in just the laziness, you know. I've always been so lazy. And it applies to a lot of aspects of my life. The most obvious one from the beginning was school. I went to a Montessori school. It's called Community Montessori. And I went there since I was about 3 years old until I graduated in May of this year. And one of the main differences between it and a normal traditional school is that you go to the same place. Like, the same building has kindergarten up to high school. And I really love my school. Another thing that I'm very grateful for is the fact that I went to a school like that is so much more about the child than like the system, you know? It's much more about getting an individual to find what their purpose is rather than, I mean, I don't want to sound edgy, but like turning them into like a robot that has to fulfill a purpose that's already been decided for them in society. I think that's a big reason why a lot of people hate school, and I don't think that anyone should hate going to school. Because, yeah, life is hard, but there's no reason that it should, you know, there's no reason you wouldn't try to alleviate some of the most miserable bits. But whatever, I'm not here to talk about that. The main point is that I was going to the same school for my entire life. My parents did think about taking me out of that school and putting me in a different, more traditional one, like a public school, which I'm very glad that they didn't do, because that would have changed my life very negatively. I very much think that I would have a worse life right now had I not finished my high school education the way that I did. But at the same time, the reasoning for wanting to do that was fair, because I wasn't getting anything done. Like, literally nothing. I had like what many people would consider to be like bad grades would be like a good day for me. Like on the one day where the one day out of like 2 or 3 months where I finally feel like energized and get that motivation, I would do like one assignment and I would get like a B on it. You know, they didn't use traditional grading system either, but I guess transferring it over, it would be something like a B, probably more like a C. But mostly it would have been Fs because I just didn't do shit until they literally made me do it. Like the teacher would have to pull me away from my friends and make me sit at her desk so that I would do the work, and that was embarrassing as fuck. Which I'm not blaming them for. It's the situation that I was in. It called for that, and if they didn't do that, then I wouldn't have graduated at all. So I'm not saying that like, my teachers are so mean, they embarrassed me in front of my friends. Like, no, I'm embarrassed of myself. And I really would like to change. I really would like to be able to just be like, you know what, I don't want to do this, but I have to do it, so I'm going to just do it. But I've never been able to do that, even for like really small things. I would look at something that I don't want to do, and I'm like, I'm just not going to do it. And it's like, I still managed to graduate with, I don't even remember what my GPA was. It was like 3 point something. Because that school was very accommodating. I don't want to just say easy, but yeah, it kind of is. But yeah, even with that, I mean, shit, what was I saying? Didn't want to, I just don't do things. Right. I still managed to graduate that school with that mindset, but I realized that out in the real world, the world that I'm being pushed into, like now pretty much, because I've now graduated and I'm now an adult, you know, that kind of shit doesn't fly. You know, they're not going to be accommodating for you because you know, when you have a job, you have to provide things for other people. So they can't always just be holding your hand through everything. And I have interests. I do. Anytime an adult asks me what I'm interested in or what I think I might want to do when I grow up, I just say I don't know, because I don't want to talk about it. But the truth is, I would really like to be a therapist. I think that's a job that's very well suited for me. But I mean, that's a form of like, I mean, it's basically a doctor. You not only have to get a degree to be that, like I can't imagine it's easy to do that. I mean, nothing is easy. Nothing in life just comes to you. But I don't know what to do. I really have no idea. And that reminds me of conversations I would have with my teachers who, I mean, I would have one main advisor, but I would often talk to like other specialists in the school. We would have like group meetings because they had to have like so many minds trying to figure me out. And they were just like, what are what do you think we should do? What can we do differently to get you to do your work? And I would never have an answer. I don't know how they had the patience to put up with me, honestly. I mean, I'm probably not the worst student they've ever had, because at the very least I'm not like an asshole. I wasn't like, I don't fucking know. God, mind your own business, you know. Like I said, I gained a lot of awareness when I grew up. I always knew that they were trying to help me, and I was never like, I never took that for granted. But it didn't change the fact that I didn't know what to do, and they didn't know what to do either. And I still don't. And now I don't even have them to help me with shit. I've never had a job anywhere, not even a small one. I did have a couple internships because our school had an internship program for juniors and seniors. So I interned at the library once for like a semester and a half. Every Friday, instead of going to school, I would just go there. But that was really easy too. I was kind of scared that it wouldn't be, but looking back, I wish that it wasn't. I wish that they weren't babying me. You know, even though at the time it would have been really hard for me. I don't know. I need to be motivated by something. I never had the fear that I wasn't going to graduate, because I genuinely, despite how bad I was doing in school, I knew that you can't just not graduate at that school. It's not really something that can happen. I've known like one or two people that have been held back a grade, and they were like the absolute worst. Like they were not just like bad at school, they were actively rebelling against school. Like one of them was like a fucking drug dealer and shit. He got like expelled for smoking in the bathroom or something. And like that's how bad you have to be to not be able to graduate. And even then, he probably still would have eventually if he didn't get expelled. And I don't really know if that's a good thing. I mean, obviously my life would fucking suck right now if I had to go to school again next year. It already kind of sucks. But like, I had to move away. And there's a lot of context to that I'm not gonna get into, maybe later, but I had to move to a different city from the city that I've lived in my whole life when I was going to that school. So like, I don't even know what would have happened if I had to stay another year. The worst thing I can think of for me, I mean, obviously it'd be very hard on my parents to figure it out, but for me, it would be just the shame, you know? I did fail some classes, but I was able to retake them during, you know, the same years. So I didn't have to retake a whole year, but I just retook certain classes. I didn't take any of the dual credit courses, so I have basically no advantage going to college when I do eventually do that. And I do plan to, but it's like, the reason I took a gap year this year is just because I know that I wouldn't succeed in college. It would just be high school, but worse, because you're like an adult and they actually expect you to do things, and they're not going to like, you know, hold your hand. So I decided to take a gap year, which I do think was still the right choice, but it's like, I have to get that discipline somehow, probably before next year, and I don't really know how I'm going to do that. I've never had a job, like I said. I'm going to try to get one, I guess. But before I do that, I kind of want to get my driver's license, which, by the way, I still don't have. But honestly, the fact that I don't have my driver's license is kind of more due to me being scared of driving than it is to not wanting to. Because honestly, I do really want to be able to drive well, but like, I'm not thinking about work. I'm just thinking about the ability to see my friends, especially now that I moved away. You know, and they're all going to college next year, so they're going to be like 2 hours away, depending on the person. You know, so that's kind of the main reason I want to get my driver's license. But that's not a good reason. I should also want it so that I can get a job and get job experience. But I'm not thinking about that. Honestly, realistically, looking at my track record, like, if I was someone else looking at my life, I wouldn't be betting money on me doing well in life. I would bet very much against it. I mean, I would be rooting for myself. It wouldn't be myself because it would be a different person. But, like, you know, I think I'm likable, I guess. I don't have very many enemies, so I don't think I'm like a shitty person. But like, that's not enough. You know, that's not enough to get you by in life. I'm so goddamn lazy, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't know. It's not just about school either. I didn't mean to talk about school that much because I wanted to kind of go over the different aspects. What else did I want to talk about? I've never had a girlfriend. The most I've had is like friendships where it was kind of like, you know, we probably would have dated had the circumstances been different, but there was always like at least one reason why it didn't happen. You know, I've known people that I've liked that I know that have liked me, but I've never actually been in a relationship, and maybe that's a bad thing because I don't have the experience, but at the same time it might be a good thing because I can't imagine myself doing well in that area either. Because, you know, relationships take effort. And it's not the emotional effort I can handle, you know. Like I said, I want to be a therapist because I know that I can be there for people if they need it and be that, like, support system. But I don't know, I feel like there's more to it than that. And honestly, when I think about the girls in my life, there's one girl that I like a lot, actually, who is going to college next year. She's not going to be anywhere near me, so again, you know, even if she did like me back and we were both like completely communicative about that, it still wouldn't work because long distance doesn't work. I'm not going to be that person that pretends that it does, and I'm sure she isn't either. Not that I even know she likes me back. I haven't talked to her about it. I'm not going to because that would be stupid to bring it up when the answer is obviously no. But I don't know. Even with that aside, she's a very accomplished person. Considering our age, you know, I mean, she's not like a millionaire or anything, but you know, she's doing well for herself. I take a lot of inspiration from her and from a lot of my friends. But I mean, I say that because I look at them and I'm like, I want to be like that, but I don't actually do anything to be like that. I just sit there and I'm like, I wish I was more like that. And I can't imagine a girl like that being happy with me, you know? Even though, you know, I'm not saying I don't have any good qualities whatsoever, but it's like eventually, you know, I feel like it would burn out pretty quickly because it's like, I'm kind of like, I'm just a deadbeat, you know? I don't know if that word applies to me yet. Maybe I have to be like 30 before I can be considered a deadbeat. But if I still am in the same situation when I'm that old, then I will be. And so many people have talked about the potential that I have. One thing my stepdad said to me, shit, it was, I don't remember how old I was, probably like 12. But he said something to the effect of, you are going to be the smartest moron that everybody knows. And I want to say that I needed to hear that, but it wouldn't be right for me to say that because nothing changed after he said that. I knew that he was right, and I still know that he's right, but I'm not doing anything differently. I've always kind of been afraid of asking for help because I feel like a lot of the time I feel like no one would want to help me. Helping me would take too much effort, you know? But I don't know. I guess I'm asking for help now. Advice. For anyone that's been in the same situation. Because I've known people in similar situations, but I honestly don't know anyone that's been in this particular situation. Even the laziest people that I know are more willing to get out of bed than me. And I'm not saying that work is ever going to be fun. I mean, obviously, you get a job that you like, you'll never have to work a day in your life, but it's never going to be like as fun as like playing a game or hanging out with friends or anything. But I just want to be able to do it. I want to be able to like power through things I don't want to do because I know that they're going to benefit me in the long run. But it's like, even though I know they're going to benefit me in the long run, I can only think about what's benefiting me right now. And like right now, I just want to play video games all day. So I just do. Not thinking about tomorrow when that 20-page essay is due. I guess I don't have to worry about that anymore. But I will in college. And I guess you don't have to go to college. I don't think that education is more important than, you know, IQ and EQ. I don't think that, you know, not going to college makes you automatically a loser. But just like for me personally, I think about the jobs that don't require a college degree and they just suck. Like, I couldn't do anything related to manual labor because I'm a fucking twig. Because I never had the motivation to work out. You know, I don't eat healthy. I eat kind of healthier now than I did. Because ever since I grew up, when I turned 18 and I grew up, I stopped ordering cheeseburgers plain. So I just got them with all the vegetables and stuff still on them. So I'm kind of healthier now, I guess. But still not like fit. And I'm never going to be fit. And I'm honestly okay with that. But like, generally, you know, I have to do something. And I want to do something. I want to have a purpose. But I can only think about the end goal, and the moment I start thinking about what it's going to take to get there, it's like, oh, God. I could do that, or I could do literally anything else. And it affects other people too, which is honestly what hurts me the most. My parents were obviously very concerned throughout my school life. Mom definitely cried more than once over the thought of me, you know, not graduating, which is fair. I kind of wish I didn't live with my mom though, for most of my school. I don't now. My parents divorced when I was like pretty young, so I mean, I love both of them dearly. They're my biggest inspirations and role models. I mean, my dad is like exactly the kind of man that I want to be. He can do like everything himself. Whenever there's a problem in the house, he doesn't have to call a guy to fix it. He just fucking knows how to fix it. You know, and anytime I ask him for advice on something, he knows, and he usually gives me the right advice. My mom is in medical school. I mean, she was like 40 something when she decided that she wanted to go to medical school. She is in college now. Not just college, but like hard college. Med school is not fucking easy for anyone. It would be impossible for me. And she's doing that now, like after her life has already been started, I guess. Like she already kind of decided where she wanted to be and then just changed her mind and decided to go to a different place. I cannot imagine the toll that took on her, but she just has an unbelievable work ethic. Has raised 2 kids. Well, one of them's not really done being raised yet, but you know. She's put up with my stepdad, who I mentioned earlier. I don't know if I mentioned that he's an asshole. He wasn't always. Or maybe he was and I just didn't realize. I can think of a couple times when I was a kid. Looking back, you know, taking his side was obviously just something that my dumbass child brain didn't really fully understand. I don't think he's a bad person. I don't think he has a bad heart. But I don't like being around him. And I'm currently with them right now. Staying a couple days in my mom's apartment in Ohio. I hate Ohio. It sucks here. It's so hot and gross. I feel gross every time I come here. It's so hot in my room. My brother doesn't give me any privacy. And I try to hang out with him. I really do try to connect to him because I haven't been my whole life, but he's a kid. He's kind of sucked into the screen. I can't blame him because I was the same way. But now I kind of feel how my parents felt, trying to connect to me, and it's like, I don't think I have a very good relationship with my parents, even though I love them and they love me. I don't say that. I don't talk to them about just like things that happen in my life. I just kind of, and I mean, I would if I would ever get out of bed. But yeah, they never made me like eat dinner with them in the dining room. They would always just bring it to me in my room. I learned a lot from them, but I think if I ever have kids, I'll do things a little differently. Not necessarily more strict, but more like, I just don't want my kids to end up like me. I want them to end up like my parents. And anyway, this started by me saying I wish I didn't live with my mom. It's not because I had a problem with my mom. It's because I have a problem with my stepdad. And my biological dad, who I live with majority of the time now, so we kind of just switched for my senior year. I don't know, he's what I want to be when I grow up. But I'm not going to be him. I mean, that's just a fact. I don't think there's anything that can change that. I think maybe it's possible for me to be better than I am now. But the most I can hope for is having kids that are better than me. And I would be fine with that. Like I said, I just want to have a purpose in the world. So, if that was raising kids that do great things instead of me doing great things myself, it's something, I can't really complain. And again, I don't even know if I should have kids because the world is just so shitty right now. I can't see it getting any better anytime soon. All of the worst people in the world, some of whom are dumb, some are smart, but all of them are evil. Those are the people that control like pretty much the entire world right now. There are so many problems that could be fixed. They don't have like complicated solutions. They won't be fixed because of the greed of man, and I don't think it's ever going to change. It hasn't changed for hundreds of years. It's really only going to get worse. So maybe I shouldn't have kids. Maybe having kids now, knowing what the future holds, or knowing what the future is likely to hold, would be morally wrong. I've thought about that. But ultimately, knowing myself, I'll probably just go with whatever my future partner wants to do. Because I want something to be remembered by. If that's kids, then that works. If not, I guess I'll find something else. Maybe. Hopefully. I mean, there I am doing it again. I'll do it in the future. I'll figure it out. Will I, though? Knowing myself, probably not. I guess I've said enough. I don't think anyone's even gonna watch this video anyway, but I'm gonna put it out there anyway. If nothing else, just to be a memento of how I'm feeling right now on July 18th, 2025. It might be the 19th now. It might be past midnight. But yeah, I guess in the future, I can look back on this and think either, wow, I'm really glad that I made it out of that, or wow, it's been a decade and I still feel the same way, and I've still done nothing with my life. I guess we'll see. I've been listening to a lot of music lately. I want to make one of those videos. It's like a tier list of all the albums that dropped in the year. But every time I think about recording it, or like every time I think I'm close to being done, another one drops that I really want to talk about. Like Clips just dropped their new album, which was fantastic. You know, Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist announced Alfredo 2, which I'm not going to leave out, even though it's not out yet. It's dropping really soon, so, you know, the video might just come out at the end of the year. I don't know. I was kind of hoping to do it like halfway and then maybe do a second one, but honestly, I don't know if I'm going to find the time to finish it in between really big releases, so I don't know. But that's coming. I want to do that. That's one of the few things that I can actually find motivation to do, is talk about music, because I'm really passionate about it. I would never make it though, because learning how to play an instrument would be way too hard. I actually did once. I tried to learn how to play guitar when I was really young, and it was, I don't remember anything that I learned. But honestly, I would attribute that more to just a lack of interest than a lack of, you know, like trying. Anyway, I'm done. Have a good day, wherever you are, whoever's watching this.